O'Connor shot you.
Well, he's got TV ads and everything going on. So.
Oh my God.
I've never had a situation where everyone gets back to the seats. So, awesome, thank you for that.
We love you, Andre.
Absolutely. So my name is Andre Vasquez, running for 40th Ward Alderman, catching my breath from coming up the steps.
Take your time.
Yeah. So I'll make it kind of brief because I know people are ready to head out. But what we're looking at here is a clear fight between neighbors and the machine. Right? If you're looking where the money's being spent, right? If we're talking about having housing for all, having affordable housing,
Right.
having equity in the city, having actual investment in neighborhoods that haven't gotten it. If we're talking about police accountability, there's a million things that tons of folks in the city want to move forward. And the first way to get to it is to clean out our council. To get rid of all the corruption and the people that have benefited from it for decades. The guy I'm running against, he's been there for 36 years.
Ooh.
So I know you guys might have seen some of the news
Oh,
ads
yeah.
and all this stuff about me and my rap career. Wasn't gonna check. I mean, clearly, and I will always apologize because I'm actually embarrassed because I didn't understand the difference between having a battle and using the kind of language that actually hurts people outside of that context, right? But I think it's up to people to be able to understand, take responsibility, and make amends for actions like that. I figure my life is one that kind of just started, or it's halfway through. I'm going to be 40 in a month.
Just started.
Oh, you're
It just started. It's not going to look
Yes, so young, yeah.
But when I think about it, right, I think about the years and the first couple chapters of my life, and what do I want the rest of the book to look like, right? So everything I've been doing is to build a kind of community where everyone feels comfortable, included, supported, because the reality is as a hip-hop person, we were trying to create the space where we felt comfortable because we didn't feel like we were part of the larger society, right? The problem is, when we create that kind of community and then we exclude others, we're replicating the problem, we're not solving it, right? So, that's my apology. The person I'm running against, let's run down the list. Part of the Verdoli Act 29.
Yeah.
We had our greatest mayor for only 5 years. Out of 3 of those years were blocked because of the Verdoli Act 29. Alderman O'Connor was part of that. Voted to give millions of dollars to Presence Health, which doesn't respect a woman's right to choose.
Okay.
And when he was criticized by women's groups and LGBTQ groups, he compared them to NRA supporters.
Wow.
He sent a letter saying that he helped write the Chicago Human Rights Ordinance. First one that came out, he voted no on. He helped write the next one by adding an exemption for a religious institution so they could discriminate. And then was on record saying he wasn't condoning any particular lifestyle. But that stuff he doesn't want to bring up because it's not on Twitter. Also,
It is now.
also, not just voted, but helped push the parking meter deal. Right? Those guys sold off the Skyway. They're about to give $1.3 billion to the Lincoln Yards TIF. This is what we're up against. So let's break down the numbers. We've been in a campaign for about a year. In total, we've raised $200,000 from donations of over 700 different neighbors. The alderman raised $200,000 this month from only 3 entities. Charters, Rahm Emanuel, Realtors. 200,000. But what they've actually raised the whole cycle now, about $1.5 million. So we have 200,000 and a whole bunch of neighbors who want to change this city versus the special interests and literally the millionaires and billionaires. I'm a Bernie guy, so what I get to say is pretty cool. But what we really have is a fight. And the machine is fighting tooth and nail. They don't want to lose any more people, right? They want to keep that power in the council. We have a shot.
That's right.
Right now we can take out the second longest serving city council member. I'd argue the most powerful, because the one who was most powerful was shaking down Burger Kings and got yelled at. Here's another thing. If you've worked with someone for 35 years, you know when they're not doing something that's right. So either you're complicit, you don't care, or you just look the other way. So for things like that, the alderman's not cool with apologies. Or actually, when somebody asked him about Burke, he's like, people make mistakes.
Again and again
Doesn't
and
apply to
again.
rappers. No. Does not apply to rappers, apparently. So my question for everybody is two things. Has the alderman ever apologized for anything? No. Can you explain why the parking meter deal was a good deal? No. The same way he's spending $1.5 million right now to lose an election tells you everything about his management skills. So what we need is everyone's help. We need people for the next 4 days to show up. 5232 North Damon, we're open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. On the weekends it'll be 10 to 6. Any hour you can spare. Phone calls, knocking on doors, because right now they've got Madigan's people coming to knock on doors too. They are literally pouring, there was a Daily Line article. The most money being spent in the city is in the 40th ward race.
I sent that to you.
That is how desperate they've gotten.
It's like 3 times bigger than everything else.
It is
They have
insane.
chart. There's just like boom, boom, boom.
So here's what I'll say.
And Mom's still donating.
Here's what I'd say. Definitely throw down here in the 46th. Anytime you have, show up in the 40th. 5232 North Damon. We have 4 days to make history and change the direction of our city.
Word.
Thank you very much.
Do it.
Hey, Andre.
Okay, Tony has questions. If you have questions, my bad.
Is that cool? Just the
Sure.
same question I asked
Sure.
Marianne Lalonde, who was here earlier. Thank you so much for coming on such an important night. Can you just say anything about specifically when you win on Tuesday?
When?
Wood.
Yeah. Knock on. You can use the guitar. Yeah. What you and other colleagues in the Progressive Caucus of the City Council would do, well, first of all, you get rid of O'Connor, who we just heard was the chair of the Finance Committee. They've been doing all these shenanigans to delay just simple referendum asking voters in 2020, can we tax the $1 million homes and
Yeah, for the RATT, for the Bridge Chicago Home.
Right,
Yep.
right, to do something about this question of homelessness. What specifically do you expect to have to stand up against in the future, and what specifically can you do, will you do?
Sure.
Yeah.
No matter how the council looks, we're going to be standing up to the same forces when it comes to the money and special interests. What is heartening is there's actually potential to grow a coalition.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring it back to Harold and make sure we grow this coalition out. Because not only is there a progressive caucus, there's potential then for a Democratic Socialist caucus. Then Rosanna and myself would potentially, knock on wood, be part of the Latino caucus. So there's ways to build enough numbers to get to a majority or at least 20 to cut better deals with the other city council members, right? So there's actual possibility to move forward on legislation. The things that I want to move forward are a fair elections ordinance, so that would establish a publicly financed small donor matching system. What that would do is, if you're a candidate who agreed not to accept corporate PAC money or developer money, the city would match small donations 6 times over. Somebody donates $100, it becomes $700. You are now a more competitive candidate in that system. And as a voter, you would know who opted into that system and who didn't, which would tell you who's a grassroots candidate and who's been bought and paid for. Right? What we have to do is change things structurally. We need an ethics reform ordinance that gives the Inspector General actual powers to subpoena, to be able to audit and go after city council members.
See back.
We need that. We need police accountability. We also need to make sure that the Aldermanic role is a full-time role, not a part-time one, so there aren't any conflicts of interest. I am all for the real estate transfer tax. I am for raising the ARO to 30% with no loopholes, and if anything's built off-site, it has to be within the zip code or the ward, so we're having equitable housing across the city.
And the ARO is?
Affordable Requirements Ordinance. So right now, the way it is if a property has 10 units or more and the city has provided any tax subsidy for it through TIF, they have to have 10% affordable housing, but they can pay more and not have any at all. Or build it off-site, which reinforces the segregation we've had in our city for far too long and we need to end.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Any other questions? Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening. Come to the 40th ward and let's rage against the machine together.